Hello everyone, welcome back to the episode 2 of this story. The first thing Jungkook noticed was the warmth, the slow, steady rise and fall against his chest. The second thing, the weight. There was someone lying on him. Then it all came crashing back. The art room, the tears, the kiss, the whispered plead, and the way they clung to each other like blind men. And Taehyung was fast asleep in his arms. Jungkook breathed, catch oh God, his heart began to race as he gently titled his head. Jungkook carefully, too careful, began to untangle his limbs and didn't want to wake him. Not yet, not like this. He sat up, reaching his shirt from the floor, avoiding looking too long at the crumpled blanket that half covered him. Exposed back, his mind was screaming he shouldn't have done that. He was hurting. I was scared, and that wasn't love. It was escape. He grabbed his bag, holding it like it could somehow ground him. He wanted to run or disappear or rewind time, but it didn't. He stayed. He vanished. Then stood with him, blinked. Jungkook and they arrived made silent. Taehyung sat up quietly, pulling the blanket over him, self-aware. Cutting him so too quickly. It was a mistake. Jungkook flinched. Taehyung didn't look at him. Taehyung, we don't have to talk about it. Jungkook, but Taehyung cold. It was just one night. Jungkook swelled hard, his hands gripping the bag tighter. Jungkook, okay, another silence, and this one was worse than before. Taehyung stood, dressed quite quickly, and grabbed his jacket. Taehyung, let's pretend it didn't happen. I will be fine. He walked out before Jungkook could say another word. And Jungkook, he stood there, frozen, confused, heart clenched, halfway burst with student and scattered laughter, but noise didn't reach Jungkook. He walked slowly, then usual, kept his head down. His thoughts were loud, too loud to ask what now. He wanted to tell him he didn't feel like mistake, but there was nowhere in sight until there. That's when things shifted. Get out of my way, freshman. Taehyung's voice echoes through the courtyard, laughter laced with something up. Jungkook looked up from his book. Taehyung was pushing a tall first year aside, not hard enough to hurt, but enough to knock the boy off balance. Jimin and Yoongi stood nearby, both watching him, an awkward smile and concerned eyes. It wasn't like him. Taehyung had always been loud, yes, teasing, yes, but this was uncomfortable. Jimin, Taehyung, maybe let him go. Taehyung, why? I am just saying hi. Aren't I allowed to say hi, Shimini? The younger boy nodded nervously and curious, scurried away, bruising. But then it was gone. Taehyung smiled. Taehyung, what? You look like Meena, daughter. Boy, Jungkook flinched at the nickname, not because of the word, but the tone shock over the person who carried in his arms last night wore the mask again. Jungkook, Taehyung, can we talk? Taehyung, mocking. Oh, are you mad? I didn't kiss you. Good morning, Jungkook. Yoongi stepped in, grabbing Taehyung's arm lightly. Yoongi, come on, that's enough. Taehyung shook him off. Taehyung, I am just being friendly. Jimin whispering him. You are not okay. You should take a break. But Taehyung laughed it off. He pushed a lollipop from his jacket and stuck it in his mouth. Taehyung breaks for the week. He glances at Jungkook one last time before walking away. Back stiff, Jungkook just stood there. He is sinking. It was like watching someone throw rocks at the glass wall just to see it settle. The evening, Jungkook sat alone on the usual study spot. He waited 10 minutes, 20, 50, 40. Taehyung didn't show, and Jungkook didn't leave either. He just sat there, quiet, still staring at the door that wouldn't open. Later that night, Taehyung sat alone on the rooftop of his room. The wind was cold, the stars were hidden behind the lights. A cigarette just to hold it, he didn't smoke much. Just when he needed to feel something, his mind wouldn't stop. Why did I let it happen? Why did he remember how safe Jungkook's sound felt, how gentle he had been, how his hands never rushed, never grabbed, only gave, and that scared him more than anything because now he wanted that again, but he didn't deserve it. Not someone like him, not with what he was, so he chose the only thing he knew how to do: run, break things before they took him back in his room. Jungkook stared at the phone. No message, no replies, no explanation. He laid on the bed, hugging a pillow. His chest hissed, not because of what they had done, but because of what they had lost in silence for that followed. It started with the ringing of the doorbell, then came the knock, and then heavy silence before the storm. Taehyung, you are back? He blinked, frozen at the doorway, his voice dry. Standing at the entrance of his apartment were his parents, stern, stiffy, and uninvited. His mother clenched her purse like she was entering in a battlefield. His father stood beside her, face hard, unreadable. Mother, we had no choice. You are stopped answering our calls, father. We thought maybe you finally came to your senses. Then felt a chill down his spine. His fingers stumbled but around his doorframe. The shouting started less than 5 minutes later, and it didn't stop. Taehyung stood at the middle of his kitchen, his voice closing in, his heart pounding, his vision blurred. Taehyung, stop, please, just stop. But they didn't. Mother, do you know how much we sacrificed for you, father? And for what? This? You living like this, hiding from the world, being some confused mess. Taehyung whispered, I'm not confused, I am who I am, mother called. Then you are a disappointment. That did it. The word disappointment didn't even notice when his knees broke. Only that he was suddenly on the floor, hands gripping the edge of the cabinet, trying not to collapse completely. His parents didn't rush to help. They stood there, judging, cold, silent. Now, by the time they left, by the time the door slammed shut behind them, Taehyung had stopped crying. He locked the door, closed the curtains, and crawled onto the bed without turning the lights on. He didn't eat that night. He didn't move the next morning, not the one after that either. 2 days later, Jungkook hadn't seen him, not at school, not at their study spot, but not even online. And now he was worried, really worried, so he knocked again. Jungkook, Taehyung, are you in? There no answers, breathless, visuals on the door, nothing. He stepped back, heart thudding in panic. He turned to Jimin, who stood beside him, equally anxious. Jimin, he hasn't texted me since Sunday. That's not like him, Jungkook. His lights are off. Do you have a key? Jimin shook his head. Yoongi arrived a moment later holding a spare key. Yoongi, his landlord gave it to me last semester after he forgot his own key 3 times in 1 week. Jungkook urgently, please open it. Yoongi nodded and unlocked the door. The room was dark, curtains drawn, no lights. The smell of food, untouched food, faint sweet dust in the air. And there on the bed, rolled up with his knees to his chest, was Taehyung, unmoving and soured, eyes open but lifeless. Jimin gasped softly and rushed to his side. Jimin, oh my god, Taehyung. Taehyung softly, harshly, don't touch me. Jungkook froze near the door. Taehyung blinked slowly at the ceiling. Taehyung, I'm fine. Yoongi quiet, you look like that. Taehyung voice cracking. That's because I feel like it. Silence. Jungkook took a hesitant step forward. Jungkook, what happened? Taehyung laughed. Bitter headache. Taehyung, my parents told me they would rather have a daughter or a son, but not me. Jungkook, you're not. Taehyung snapping, I am not a real anything. Jungkook, not to them. He finally sat up, eyes wild red rimmed, his hair messy and sticking to his face. Then, do you know what it likes to be told your existence is a burden? No one answered him. I tried so hard to make peace with myself. I tried, Jungkook, but now it feels like all I have done is make everyone hate me. Jungkook took a breath and walked to him. He knelt beside the bed and looking up into Taehyung's broken gaze. Jungkook, I don't hate you. Taehyung stared at him. Jungkook, I was scared too. After that night, I didn't know what it meant, but one thing I do know. I don't regret being with you. Taehyung softly, you should. Jungkook, I can't. Silence again. Jungkook, let me help you. Taehyung, please. Don't push me away again. Taehyung looked away, his throat tightening. Taehyung, it hurts. Jungkook, then let me hold your hand through it. Jimin sneaked beside them, wiping his tears. Yoongi, turn away, let's press tight. Taehyung slowly reached out and Jungkook took his hand. Firm, warm, real. They sat like that for a long time. Nothing fixed, but not alone. Later that night, Jungkook helped them shower quietly, giving him privacy, leaving a towel near, bringing clean clothes, lighting a scented candle in the corner. He helped him eat. He brought rice. They sat on the bed in silence, legs touching. Taehyung quietly, I thought I would be okay without love. I have lived without it for years. Jungkook, then let me give you something. Looked at him, wide eyes believe, but Taehyung, don't say that unless Jungkook, I mean every word. And for the first time in days, Taehyung breathed, really breathed. Taehyung had started to feel lighter, not completely filled for it, but Jungkook's presence made things breathe. His voice, his calmness, the way he never asked too much but somehow gave everything. It was perfect, but for Taehyung, who had never known what safe felt like, it was something. It was enough to make him smile again. If only a little, it was enough to wake up in the morning and open the window instantly, pulling the blanket over his head. But something was wrong. It started small. a headache here and wave of nations there. Moment of dizziness so quick. He thought maybe he was just tired. Stress could do that, right? And he was definitely stressed. He was constantly worried about what Jungkook thought of him after that night. Though Jungkook hadn't brought in up once, neither had he. They had fallen asleep in each other's arms that night, lost in haze of pain and need. But by morning, both were silent, unsure where they stood, unsure what to say. The silence between was quite agreement. Pretended it didn't happen. Let's begin back to what they were. But nothing was truly go back, and now something inside him felt off. Sam had been smiling, laughing, even genuinely. Then he stood up too fast and the door tightened sideways. Then, his legs, and the last thing he heard was Jungkook's panicked voice shouting his name before everything went dark. The hospital they were woke, he woke to white walls and slow online beep of a heartbeat monitor. He stood, felt tired. There was a nurse beside him, adjusting his IV. Nurse, you are awake? Good. We run a few tests, blood visuals, etc. Just to be sure. What happened, nurse? You fainted. Your blood pressure was low, and we found something else. The doctor will speak to you in private. He will be here in a moment. Thank God. The doctor came in 10 minutes later. He was kind faced and quiet, holding a chart in his hand. Doctor Taehyung, may I speak with you alone? Taehyung's heartbeat skipped. He nodded. The nurse closed the door quietly. Doctor, you are correct, Taehyung. Stephen Taehyung. Yes, doctor. Then you will understand why I say this with great care. One of the blood tests was performed. Shows elevated hormones level. We also did the scan when we couldn't explain your fainting thing. Waited. His heart was pounding so loud and everything. Yes, doctor, you are pregnant. Around 5 to 6 weeks along. The time stop at what? Doctor, I know this may came a shock, but it's I can't. That's not. I wasn't supposed to. The doctor placed a hand gently on his arm. Doctor, you don't have to make any decision right away, but you should rest and consider telling something you trust. Then shook his head immediately. No one can know. The doctor hesitated. Doctor, it's your choice legally and medically, but you need support. See, this will not be easy to handle alone. I have been alone my whole life. The doctor didn't argue. He just nodded. Doctor, then we will keep this. When Jungkook arrived at the hospital, breathless and panicked, Taehyung was sitting on the bed wearing a blank expression. Jungkook, Taehyung, oh my God, are you okay? What happened? Are you sick? Taehyung forced a smile. Low blood pressure, apparently too much stress, not enough food. Jungkook said beside him, still panting. Jungkook, don't do that again. You scared the heck out of me. I'm sorry, Jungkook softly. Don't apologize. Just talk to me next time, okay? You don't have to go through stuff alone. Taehyung looked away. Yeah, okay. That night Taehyung couldn't sleep. He lay in the bed staring at the ceiling, one hand over his stomach trembling. There was life inside him. His mind kept repeating. He thought about his parents, what they would say. They were never enough. You were never enough. You should have been a girl. You are a disgrace. They would never accept this. And would Jungkook even believe him? Would he be horrified? Would he run? Taehyung didn't know. And the fear of those questions was louder than the answers he might never get. So he made a decision. He would hide it for now, just until he figured out things, just until he was strong enough to face it, just until it didn't feel like this whole world was about to collapse. In the next morning, Taehyung stood in front of the mirror and he pulled out a hoodie, adjusted his sleeve to hide his ivy bruises, and walked out of his room like nothing had happened. When Jungkook arrived, grinning and holding his coffee, Taehyung smiled back. He ignored the twist in his stomach, the nations, the fear. Taehyung, let's study. I don't want to fall behind. Jungkook, you are pushing too hard. I can't handle it. Jungkook didn't push, and Taehyung was grateful because now more than ever he didn't know how to tell the truth. Taehyung never thought it would happen this soon. He had been careful, hiding sometimes, faking smiles, pretending everything was fine. He kept his secret pushed like a locked chest in the ocean, and no one, not even Jungkook, had a key but secret have a way of surfacing when you least expected, and this one shattered. It started with the doctor's envelope. He had tucked it under a pile of his sketchboard in his trunk, stupidly, lazily thinking his parents wouldn't never snoop in his space, but they did. Or maybe they always had. Taehyung wasn't sure anymore. All he knew was that when he walked into his living room, was shaking. You're pregnant, aren't you? The room suddenly felt too small. The air vanished from his lungs. Taehyung, I was going to. Father coldly, don't lie. He threw the paper onto the coffee table. It's like relieving the words confirmation and 6 weeks. Printed it bold black ink. Mother, you are not even fully male, and now this, you are ruining what little is left in our reputation. Father, who is it? Who did this to you? Taehyung stayed silent because even now, even when every part of him was breaking, he wanted to protect Jungkook. He wasn't going to drag him into this. Not like this, Father. You will go to the clinic tomorrow, Taehyung. Taehyung couldn't sleep. He lay curled up in bed, head over his belly, tears soaking into the pillow. His heart was heavy, his thoughts spinning like storms. He had always known his parents couldn't truly accept him, but now they were trying to erase the life inside him. a heartbeat that had already become a part of his soul. He couldn't let that happen. He wouldn't now. No matter how scared he was, no matter how alone he felt, he had to run. At 4 a.m., while the house was still dark and quiet, Taehyung packed a small bag, a few clothes, his vitamins, some saved money, and his sketchbook, and the only thing that felt like home. He hesitated for a moment before pulling out his phone. He looked at Jungkook's name. He wanted to call him to say something, anything, but if Jungkook didn't want this baby, what if he regretted everything? What if he hated him? Then blinked back tears and placed his phone without dialing. He couldn't risk it, not now. The train to the left at 6:10 a.m. By 9 a.m., he was stepping into the familiar platform of his childhood hometown. He hadn't been back in years, but there was one place he could go, one place that always welcomed him without questions. To be continued. Everyone, there is gonna be 2 or 3 more episodes of this short story. Hope you will enjoy it. How was this episode? Comment it down. I'll see you again. Bye. Love you. Bye.